Super cool radio.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Nerds Order music interview. Today, we have something different for you. Today, I'll be talking with Matthew Thomas from Super Cool Radio. We're going to go back and forth about the groups we talked to and other questions we have for each other. What is up, man? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, dude. Thank you so much for doing this, able to actually set this up. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I can for sure it'll be fun.
Definitely. I'm excited as hell. So let's get started. What question do you have for me first to get the ball rolling?
Let's start this off. Actually, when I had my 2-year anniversary, I'm surprised actually no one asked me for this when they interviewed me. How do you prepare for an interview?
I breathe. I take a deep breath. I try to calm myself down. I look into the music and develop questions off of that and off of a template I made a while back.
Nice.
So when did you start up Super Cool Radio?
Actually, it was originally an actual internet radio station. I started in 2019 because I wanted to have like my own kind of show because I applied to like a bunch of different, like 4 or 5 different local radio stations, television stations, all that, just to see if I can even just do like an entry level job. And unfortunately, I never heard back. So I got tired of waiting, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start my own radio station. I'm just gonna have some fun. I'll do it when I'm not working, gain some experience, and maybe meet some friends and maybe have my own like huge broadcast empire, you know. So I did that. I lasted about a year just because licensing fees, all that stuff, and trying to work at the same time definitely it takes its toll. So now I'm really happy doing this podcast stuff. It's a lot easier. You can do it on demand. There's a lot less restrictions and it's a lot cheaper. So so the main reason was because I never heard back from any of the radio stations. So I was like, you know what? Just have my own show. I can do whatever I want, and it's a lot less restrictions and limits. It's just the only limitation is myself.
Yeah, I love that, man. That's great. Hey,
I
make
mean,
the most out of a situation. Best way to put it.
yeah, dude, yeah, because it was kind of just sudden. I didn't have any experience. I'm not actually like trained to do this, which comes to a surprise to some people, just how well I'm able to kind of do stuff. Not to toot my own horn there, but you just got to go with it. It's just all about interacting with people. I love hearing people's stories, and because like every band, you hear the music, but there's also people behind the music. There's humans who make the music, and they had these emotions and they had these feelings to make this style of music that we all love.
Exactly. I love hearing those stories too. It's always a pleasure.
Oh yeah, for sure. I know you recently interviewed my good friend Aaron of LC Banks. I really enjoyed that interview. So if anyone hasn't checked that out, definitely check out that interview. She is awesome. Just everything she does and her whole story and all that she's really cool.
I appreciate the feedback. I really do.
Of course. All right. So you know what? I'll flip the question on you. So why did you start Nerds Order Music?
Well, music saved my life through many different occasions. I had very bad suicidal depression when a lot of stuff happened in my life, and music got me out of killing myself. And I wanted to give back to the bands, learn their stories, share their music. And originally, Nerds Order was actually a bigger project with me and some buddies. We all have our own segments. Like one of us does comics, TV, anime. One of us does games and other stuff like that. And I'm like, you know what? Since I found the project, I'll just do music. Because I used to do like album of the day, vinyl of the week, stuff like that. But then I'm like, I want to make it more. So I started interviewing bands after I recovered from those incidents that happened. And that's when I just got this ball rolling.
Music is very powerful too. I know I discussed this in one of my latest interviews. Like, music is very powerful to actually have a connection with people and not actually physically meet them. It's so powerful. You know, I'm glad you're still here. I'm glad we're able to do this and spread our love of music.
Honestly, same. Like, music is one hell of a therapist, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure. I mean, just it's all the emotions that even if you're not sure what you're feeling, there is a song or there's a style of music for it.
Exactly. Like for me, it was Shattered by the band Currents. That was what got me on this, and I was so happy with it. Actually, the very first interview I ever did was with one of my favorite bands I listened to in college, which is called Arrival of Autumn. It is a Canadian metalcore band signed under Nuclear Blast. Great guys too. I'm actually working with them again soon when they release their new album because they want me to be the first one they talk about it with. So I'm like just really pumped for that.
Dude, that is awesome.
It
Yeah,
is.
it's always cool when a band hits you up like, hey, we're gonna be having new music or a new single or an album or whatever, and like, hey, we want you to be the first one. Rags and Riches, a really cool like pop band out of Kentucky, asked me when they dropped their newest single, Crossfire, to be the first interview, and like that's always it makes me like it's like wow, thank you for choosing me to do this.
That happened to me a few times actually. There's a few more bands who want me to work with them when they release their new stuff, and one of them is called Blood Butcher. It is a death metal group out of Tennessee, and then there is 5 p.m., which is a group I think from the Netherlands. It's like classic rock kind of vibes to it. I love it. Such great stuff.
Dude, hell yeah, dude. I'm happy for all the progress you made. Honestly, dude, you asked like really good questions. I've actually, I'm telling you as I'm, chatting with you, but I've incorporated one of your songs now into my kind of like rotation, or not
Oh,
one of your songs, one of your questions about like collaborations. That, dude, that's a really good question.
yeah, I thought of that recently going through. I'm like, because I know bands don't just want to work alone sometimes. They want to work with other artists. So I'm thinking, what if I asked that question? That just popped into my head. I'm like, I think it'd be a good one to ask. So I tend to ask that to everyone I work with because you never know what you're going to get for answers. Like when I worked with Illusions of Grandeur, they wanted to work with Korn. And I'm like, I love Korn. Great group, honestly. So I can definitely see that.
Oh, I could too. Their style is actually honestly that would be a killer collab,
It
dude. Like
would be.
honestly, I want to see that now.
I've always loved Korn's style, and I think Illusions of Grandeur will do pretty good with them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
so
Pushing like the male and female voices, it would be really good.
exactly. All right, I think I'll ask a question here. What made you think of the name Super Cool Radio?
Honestly, it just came to me one day. Like I was going through so many names. I think I came up with like 50 different names, and either they were taken or they were too similar to another podcast or radio station that like get kind of confusing. So I was like, super cool radio. Like I was trying to do something with like cool in it anyway. So I was just trying to think of different stuff, and I was like, SCR has a good ring to it, so I can shorten it to say that. And that's actually what one of my logos is SCR. So like I was like, it has a nice ring to it. I'm the only one in the U.S. who uses it. There's actually it used to be one in France, but they don't use the name anymore, and that's kind of when I took over the name. So yeah, it just kind of came to me.
Nice.
So I know you do a lot with like your schedule. I know you do a lot of interviews, a lot more than I do. I do like about 2 to 3 a week. I know you do a lot more. So like, how do you schedule all this, dude?
Well, we talk. I ask like where their time zone is because I don't work with groups just in the U.S. I work with people all over the world. Netherlands, Norway, Brazil, Australia at one point. Like it's all over. So I ask the time zone. I look at what dates are available. I just schedule them in. There was one day I had like 3 different interviews and I was able to get them all in separate times. I'm like, I gotta shorten it to a lot less because this is just too much. But it was a blast. Honestly, great people too. It was so much fun. I think that was the week where I had 10 groups, but yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, you're a beast with getting those interviews done. I know, like, I try to pace myself a little bit more because, like, I used to go really hard with my radio station, and then I would just get burned out after a while. So I'm trying to
Yeah.
like pace myself that just to have the longevity to do it. So like, I don't just like, oh, here's all my stuff, and it's like I'm gonna take a year off. So I'm
Yeah.
trying not to do that.
I started pacing a lot more frequently. I started doing like 2, 3 a week just to really space it out. There are some times where I take a whole week off just to edit everything. So I've been doing a lot more spacing out because honestly, that's one thing I do not want happening is burnout. So I've been actually following your advice with that and doing a lot less. I would do like a few a week, take a whole week off to edit, etc.
Yeah, like I try to pace myself, but like if something huge came up, like I'm like, yes, I will get this done. If it's like someone who I really want to interview, like I will make
Yeah,
time for you.
that's how I feel. I guess when Dakota sent me, yeah, here's what they had to say. I'm like, oh my fuck, you did that because he got in touch with Currents for me. Now I'm waiting to hear back from them. But it's like I swear that man has so many contacts. I swear.
Yeah, Dakota DI Records, great record label, got some really great bands on there,
For
and
real.
honestly, like one of my favorite people to work with, just because of yeah, as you said, with his connections, but just also how like nice he is, and like how he's like he wants you to grow too. He doesn't want to just like
Exactly.
help himself. He's here to like grow everybody, the band, the person doing the interview, and obviously his record label, but like just doing all that at the same time.
I have so much respect for him as a human being. And his comedy is on point too. He's hilarious.
Yes, I love he's like very oddly specific with some stuff. I was just in a chat group with him like earlier today, and just some of his stuff was, you know, obviously some of the stuff can't say, but it was a lot. It was very. I had laughy faces. Just that's all my reaction was, just a bunch of
Yeah.
laughy faces.
The dude's great. Honestly, he's hilarious. I'm so happy I met him. I'm surprised he found me, to be honest. Because I'm just some random guy out of Connecticut, like just doing this to give back and as a hobby. I didn't expect to actually be found by someone like him.
Yeah, actually he found me too. Actually, I started. You know, I'm good friends with LC Banks. You know, you as we said interviewed Aaron, and I started playing their music on my radio show after I saw them with Kaleido and Stitched Up Heart at the Music Factory in Battle Creek, end of 2019, I think November of 2019, and they signed I think the next few months later, like I think next year March, I think February March, and he's like, hey, you know, I think end of that year, he's like, hey, I see you playing LC Banks. You want to check out some of these other bands on my, I own a record label. You should check out some of these bands. I was like, man, he's got a killer roster set up here, man. It's like, these are all bands.
Does.
Like, yeah. I'm trying to think who Dance with Ghosts, they signed, I think, like before LC, a little bit before LC Banks. They are
Yeah.
really awesome. So I really like them. I introduced to them through DI Records. So
Nice. Speaking of Dancing with Ghosts, their Easter thing was, whew, when I saw that, I'm over here like, oh dear God, this is hilarious. What the hell?
oh, dude, that was funny. And you know what? If anyone, you know, if you know Stephanie and Josh, you know that's kind of how like they do things. It's always wacky. It's entertaining as hell, and it's
Yeah.
always fun.
It is. I'm thinking when I first saw this, I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness. I had to ask him about it when I interviewed them. I loved the response I got about that.
Oh yes, dude. Yeah, I saw another great interview you did. Yeah, I watched that one, and it's just so Dancing with Ghosts to do something so wacky like that. It made me laugh. It was awesome.
When I first see it, I'm like, okay, I see a fox. What's gonna happen? I'm over here like, oh my goodness, the bleeding egg.
And you know, the funny part of it was Easter, but they couldn't get a bunny head, so they had to use a fox head to do it. And I was like, it just adds to the whole kind of hilarity of this whole situation.
And then they cut up an alien mask to use it as the other thing, and I can't speak on it. I can't say it on this, but yeah.
It's on their Facebook page. I think they put it on YouTube. I'm not
And
sure.
Instagram, it's on their Instagram as well.
Go check it out, and also follow them. They're really awesome.
Link will be in the description.
There you go. Yes.
Okay. So my next question is, what has been your favorite groups to work with so far?
Oof, man. I mean, honestly, I've really enjoyed working with honestly, all my interviews have had some takeaway from it that I've really enjoyed. Either like, you know, I met new people, got like connections with new people, or that it was just really fun. I would say like some of my interviews that are really like personal to me that I really enjoy. I would say my latest interview with Christina Chris of Kaleido. We honestly, like, I'm a huge fan of Kaleido. I think that definitely came out during the interview with just everything we talked about. I thought that was really cool, and she's a really rad person. If anyone hasn't checked out Kaleido, definitely check them out. And I was really happy that she was able to do the interview because she was super nice. But also Reality Suite, which I know you interviewed them.
Yes.
And they are talk about kind of out there and hilarious, especially with, like, if you just get Antonio, like, just sometimes he just goes in a completely different direction. You're like, wow, I didn't see, you know, took a turn.
Yeah.
There.
Especially during my interview when they're like, okay, talking to Dakota, how they all got signed on. That story was great.
Yeah, actually, I might be doing some with them coming up really soon too. So you should be on the lookout for that.
Definitely. They actually gave me some really juicy information about a vinyl they were releasing before they even mentioned it. I'm just like, because I collect vinyls, as you know, from my interviews. I'm just like, send me one. I need it.
Yeah, and I saw they're doing a show in Pennsylvania. They asked me to come out, but I'm like, man, I'm 2 states over. I'm not sure if I'll make it. I want to.
Same. I'm all the way up in Connecticut. I'm like so far out.
No,
Like
I
if I
want
could
to.
get there, I would, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, if I had the means to travel, like there's some shows that, like I see like they're really awesome, but like there's like one in Texas with like the Rumors and Wild Street, which I know is
Yeah.
going to be a killer show. I was like, man, if I can get to Texas, I would totally do that.
Same. Like I want to go to that one where they're doing all those metal groups so badly. The one where Mudvayne's coming back, and I'm just like, it's so far away.
Yeah, I think
It's all the way up in Ohio, I think, or some crap.
yeah, which I'm right next to Ohio, so I mean, I might have to go out. I know.
Lucky.
Yeah, I know. There's one in Michigan too. I forget. There's like Uphavel. I don't remember the name of it, but like they're doing like 2 days in Grand Rapids. I think like Korn's gonna be there. Rob Zombie. It's like a huge festival too.
I'm so jealous now. I love Korn.
Yeah, I've actually only seen them once. I saw them with Rob Zombie in like 2016. Yeah, 2016, right after right before I graduated. Yeah, right after I graduated high school. Yeah, and that was a killer show. In This Moment opened for them, and Korn sounds really awesome live. If you like their studio, it like sounds like their studio work too.
Yeah.
It's really impressive.
Yeah, I swear their singer has been through so much hell, but he makes some of the best music.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of inspiration to work with.
Yeah. For real. And like I loved the song from them that was Falling Away From Me. That hits me every time.
Yeah, there's honestly like the whole Issues album is like one of my favorite albums. Just like everything that goes on in that album and all the emotions.
Yeah. I actually just picked up one of their vinyls a few days ago. 'Cause I finally got to go out to the mall again. I've not been there for a whole year. So I went to go over there. I picked up Follow the Leader, and I'm so happy. Because that's my very first Korn vinyl. And I'm just like, yay, I finally got one. I was looking for Slipknot, the one they did Unsainted on, but I couldn't find it. I'm like, ooh, there's Korn here. I just grabbed it. Because I'm a big fan of both, honestly.
Oh yeah, both are really good metal bands. And actually, I want to see Slipknot. Hopefully, if everything opens up again, I'd love to see Slipknot.
Honestly, same.
I think it's back to me actually.
Yep.
All right. Honestly, I asked this question to like everyone I interview because I mean, music is universal. You don't have to be a musician to like music,
Yeah.
as both of us know. What music have you been listening to this week, Zach?
Oh, a lot.
Lay it on me.
Sunsinger, Reality Suite, Korn, Currents, AXTY, which is actually a group I worked with in the past, a Brazilian metalcore group, amazing guys. The lead singer the main singer is a year younger than me. I'm like, holy shit, like he makes really good music. And My Dice, which is a group from the Netherlands, awesome guys. I got to work with them a while ago. Really chill people. And let's see who else. I just honestly, my headphones don't come off until I go to bed. So the music I listen to for a whole day can be completely diversified, from EDM to jazz to orchestra, straight up stuff from the 1700s like Beethoven, and then right back into metal.
Nice.
I try to listen to everything.
I mean, it's always cool to have such open mind to music that like genre doesn't really like. Oh, I only listen to this certain genre. I listen to every genre. I'm not a huge fan of some genres, but at least I'll still listen.
Yeah.
Because like you still pick up like every genre has something new and interesting to pick up on.
Exactly. And you can also see how some of the inspirations kind of intertwine between genres as well, which I find pretty cool. Like you can see some stuff from classical in metal. Like you can see some of the patterns, and I love it.
Yeah, like, as you mentioned with Sunsinger, they use a lot of classical elements with their stuff.
Especially with the song Bloodborne.
Yes.
The opening to that was, oh my goodness. Speaking of Sunsinger, that interview was so fun. I loved it. Except I'm mad at myself for wearing a red shirt. I'm like, the one time I wear color, I'm working with someone who's in all black. I'm like, oh, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I mean, usually I have a blue shirt on. I'm actually rocking my friend's Almas today. But usually I got my blue Super Cool Radio shirt on, so I'm pretty consistent with stuff.
Yeah.
But it's either blue or black for me. I don't usually
I
from it.
I usually wear my death shirt because it's like I like to stay with the gothic scene because I do a lot of metal.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, you know what? I want to change it up for a day because the shirt was in the wash anyway. So I'm just like, you know what? I'll wear this bright ass shirt because why not? And I turn the camera on. I'm like, oh, for crying out loud.
Yeah,
As soon as I see the eyeliner, I'm like, oh come on.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
before we start recording, she goes, "Do you want to change?" I'm like, "No, let's just do it." She goes, "Your shirt matches my lights." I'm like, "Good enough for me." But no, she was really sweet. That was fun.
oh yeah, no, Carrie is really awesome. I really enjoyed. Yeah, obviously I enjoyed your interview with her as well. And I had recently, I think I interviewed after. I think it was after, like
Yeah,
right
it was
after.
after. I enjoyed watching yours as well. I loved it.
Yeah, no, she's really cool. Like she was just
Super
awesome
sweet.
to chat with.
Super sweet. And I love how the album covers are all hand drawn. See that as like something that's so amazing. Because
Oh yeah,
most
like
of it's
I'm a huge fan of art. You know, like I always I commission a few logos made, and I always look for like people like obviously good artists and stuff. But I'm so amazed just how like 'cause I'm not gifted to like draw and to do all this.
yeah.
So like finding people who can, especially do it so well, like that, it's really impressive to me.
Like when I saw that album cover, I'm like, I have to ask about this. When I found out it was hand drawn, my jaw was just like, my jaw was dropped. I'm like, holy crap. Speaking of which, they're supposed to send me a poster. I'm still waiting on that. I think they might have forgot, but it's okay. Honestly, I get it. I might just make it. But honestly, though, I love seeing that artwork. When I saw that style, I'm just like, holy crap. Because I
Yeah.
lost it. Like the beauty, the detail, it was all there. And I still can't believe it's hand drawn. That is just impressive.
Especially like get the I know the Ace of Cups Part One, like to get that blue, like that kind of bright blue that really
Exactly.
stands out. It's just amazing to me.
That is actually my favorite album cover of all time. It's just so beautiful. The color, the design of the character. It is my honestly, if it should that art should be hung up somewhere in a museum or some crap. Like it is that well done. I love it.
Oh yeah. If anyone hasn't checked it out, check out Sunsinger. They're a really awesome band, and check out the cover. And because we both really enjoy it, so definitely check it out. It's awesome.
It'll be on the top right corner.
Yeah, we'll have to put that up.
Yeah. But honestly, that was amazing. All right, my next question is lost my train of thought here.
Yeah, stall for time. It's okay.
All right. What was the very first group you ever worked with?
The first one I interviewed actually, it was LC Binks. I had the opportunity. I saw them in November of 2019, and then January 11th of 2020, I was able to. I hit up Aaron like December, like, hey, so you're coming to the Music Factory? I'm like an hour and a half away. Can I do an interview with you or the band? And she's like, yeah, most of the band will be there. Yeah, just show up and we'll do the interview. So I think that was it was really awesome. I owe them a lot, honestly, because that really legitimized Supercore Radio, like because they have a big following. I mean, I know they're still like they're not like a huge band, but they have a very loyal following. So I mean, I really appreciate they took the time to do an interview. I actually was on their tour bus, their RV,
That's awesome.
to do the interview, and this was like when I was just doing radio, so it was just an audio interview, and it was really awesome. I learned a lot from Erin. She actually used to be she studied for radio, so she gave me a lot of great tips, and I owe them a lot, not just for the advice they gave me, but for doing the interview. And we've obviously stayed in contact, obviously still. And I got a really cool Halloween. I talked to you about that I'm planning that may hopefully come together for October, and I have a perfect guest for it. So
Excited. I can't wait.
oh yeah, I'm a huge like horror movie Halloween fan, so I think I got the perfect person in mind.
That's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see how that plays out.
Oh yeah. All right, so back to me. I know I've faced a lot of quite a few adversity and challenges going through all this. But like, what are some challenges like you faced when you started doing this?
Well, honestly, time management and motivation, because I was still battling a lot of depression when I started this up, mainly because of a lot of events that happened, and I still didn't have the confidence to move on. I mean, obviously, when your dad walks out on you and a bunch of other crap happens with the next fiance, you kind of lose your mind. So I was healing, coping, and music and friends got me through it. And I'm just like, I started building this little room I'm in right now as a way of coping. And just, I wanted to see if I can get anywhere with it. So I just tried managing my time better, which is still an issue to this day. But that's the usual. But no, I just really tried to get things put together when I probably should have taken more time to myself to still recuperate. But honestly, though, I'm kind of glad I didn't because now I'm doing this as a big thing and I love it. Eventually, I want to help more. I want to help. My goal is to help as many bands as possible. And I'm happy that I met Dakota. I'm happy I met you because you gave me some really good tips on how to do podcasts. Like, I didn't know what I was getting into. Like, when I first started this, I actually did 2 written up interviews because the bands were like, they didn't want to do a video. Those 2 groups were Lodiak, which is actually a solo musician from Turkey. He does metalcore. And then there was one called Jackdaw, which is a punk group from the UK. Then my first video interview was with Arrival of Autumn's drummer, and he taught me how to use Zoom. I'm over here like, what is this program? Because I never used it before. And then after that, I just started doing this as a normal thing. Then I met Sepsis, which is how I met Dakota, and how I met you, and rest is history.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always willing to help people because like I've faced like quite a few people who like didn't want to lend a hand like when asked like if I came up to them. So I'm always like I'm gonna help people because like honestly it's not only the right thing to do as like kind of as we discussed with Dakota's strategy is like you build up everybody you're around.
Exactly.
No point in trying to hold everyone down. We can just build everybody up.
Mm-hmm. That's what I do. Like, if someone's in need, I help them. That's how I've always been, even since I was little. From helping people cope with depression to helping people get stuff done. Like, and I use a lot of music with those skills when I help people with depression. I have saved over 22 lives just with music alone. Like it was, and since I work with a lot of bands now, I send some of those songs over. Like we did with Evanor. I sent a song from Evanor over to my friend who was really depressed, and it helped him out a lot. And I actually told her that during the interview, and I loved the response. I really did. It was amazing. Actually, I think Evanor was the first band from D I actually worked with. That's what started my adventure with Dakota.
It is definitely a venture with Dakota, but also it's really awesome. Just as we discussed, like music is very powerful, and to help somebody out for the power of music, that's just such a strong connection. And so again, as I said, like it's all the emotions and feelings that you can't feel like you can express, but like someone else already expressed those emotions for you.
Exactly. And it helps you really get through the pain.
Oh yeah,
Music, where would I be without you?
exactly, dude. No, exactly. It's helped me out a lot. I know it's helped out obviously you and many other people as well. So it's a great tool to have, and I'm glad that obviously with the internet and all that stuff that it's at our fingertips that we can use.
For real. All right, my next question is, who would you love to work with in the future?
Let's see. That's actually it's a good question. Coming up in the future, I mean, I would I would love to work with Heaven Below. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
They sound very familiar. I'm just trying to put my finger on it.
Yeah, I love their music. I actually introduced my brother to their music. He's like, dude, this sounds really good. They're a hard rock band. I think they're out of California. They picked up a new touring guitarist, Nikki Stringfield. She is really awesome. She worked with Nita Strauss and Iron Maidens. And so I love to work with them. I've hit them up, but I haven't heard back. So I think I would definitely like to work with them. And I'm gonna revisit a few. Like I was supposed to have an interview with Bisto Blanco due to some unforeseen circumstances. I was not able to have it. So I'm gonna be looking to hopefully maybe get an interview with Chuck Derrick or Calico Cooper coming up. I'm gonna be revisiting a few that like either it didn't work out or that I just never heard back from.
Yeah, I get that. Like, I messaged some groups, I never hear back.
Yeah.
There was one group whose music I was in love with since 2009 or something like that. And I did not know they were a solo, well, not solo. I did not know they were independent since the 90s. So I'm like, I'm going to reach out and test my luck. Got a response. The group is called Hulu. It is now it's her and her husband who make the music, and they have some really good stuff. It's more of it's hard to put it in a genre because their style changes up a bit, but it's really chilled out stuff. It's not rock, it's not metal. It's a form of alternative, which I really love. And their songs have a lot of deep meaning in it, and I love it. Like when I first heard that album, the album from 2006, which was Wholeness and Separation, I just fell in love with it. I will definitely send it over later. Best songs on there, in my opinion, are Stone Fruit and Honey Thief. The messages in those songs are insane.
I'm definitely going to check them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In California as well, if my memory serves me correctly. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely check them out. I'm always looking for new music, but also, I mean, like May, I think is kind of big for me. I got a lot of cool bands lined up. I don't want to try to give everything away.
Oh, definitely, I understand that.
But I definitely there's gonna be a lot of cool things I'm working on. A band who I really like that I actually got a good connection with, so hopefully it'll work out soon. Is the Lines of Loyalty, really great rock band out of Wisconsin. I know they're actually coming to my area. I think in July, so that would be really cool to actually get to see them. So if you haven't checked out Lines of Loyalty, do so because I'm really digging them.
I will definitely check them out.
Oh yeah. All right, like I said, yeah, back to me now. So what's like I know what mine is. So I'm interested. What's some band that you just message like without any context or without you just like message them asking for an interview and you got it?
Arrival of Autumn. The first group I ever worked with, I sent out a message like hoping for a response because I know they're not like huge, but they're on a major label. So I'm just thinking, I'm not going to hear back. I'm probably not going to get anything back from them. I got a response like a day after. I'm like, wait, what? And he and I talked with the drummer. He was like, yeah, man, I'll help you. Here, use this program, use Zoom. Like, here's how you do it. Like, he was so nice about everything. He knew this was my first one, too. He goes, are you doing it for you or for a group? I'm like, this is a personal thing. He goes, oh, man, you're fine then. Let's do it. I'm like, really? Like, he was so nice about everything. Because first he was asking, like, okay, who is this interview for? I'm like, it's for me. It's a personal thing I'm doing. He goes, oh, man, you're fine then. Let's do it. He was so nice about the whole process. And I'm working with them again soon once their album is near completion, which is even more exciting. And he's got me in touch with some pretty cool groups I'll be working with in the next month and a few weeks after, but which I'm really pumped for. Yeah, big shout out to Tyler Fox. Thank you so much for getting me started on this journey.
Dude, hell yeah, dude, they're a good band too. I've listened to them, and it's always cool. Like you get to see who are just doing like the music just for fun though. They're willing to help people, willing to chat with people, and like you see that like when you're obviously doing the stuff we're doing.
Yeah. Like I wanted to just see where I can get myself because, like I said, I want to get back to the bands, and I've been a fan of Arrival of Autumn since college, so I like really wanted to listen to them and see if I can speak with them. And the drummer just messaged me immediately after I messaged him, and I'm just like, this is not happening. No, the biggest this is not happening moment was when I put in Sepsis' group What I Do, and then that's how Dakota found me. I'm like, wait, an owner of a label, this is not real. Because like 10 bands reached out to me, including Dakota. So I'm over here like it took me a week to process everything. I'm over here thinking to myself, this is not real. Like Siren, a really good group from Canada, Agony Incorporated, a few others, and it's like I love it. And then I just got into it. I wasn't expecting that. That was like my 15th episode. And now, as of I think yesterday, I uploaded episode 34 or 35. I gotta check. But it's like in that short amount of time, I got so many groups, and then thanks to Dakota, it's just been rising.
Nice.
I never expected this because I always grew up around music. That was me. Music was always my escape. I always hoped to talk with bands, but I never saw it being a reality. And then when all this went down, I just wanted to cope, so I just started up my channel. Me and my friends were all a bunch of crazy nerds, so we called it Nerds Order because we wanted a place for everyone to have something, whether it be people who like anime, people who like games, people who like comics, movies, music. We wanted there to be something for everyone. And we used to have one big page, but we're like, this is too crowded. We got split up into divisions. So I made the music one, and then the other ones made their departments, and we just got rolling with it. And then after a week or two of running it, I'm like, I want to start talking to bands. So I just straight up messaged a few groups. Lodiak and Jack Bell were the first to respond, but they wanted to do text because of their busy schedule. So I'm like, okay, let's do text. And then after that, Arrival of Autumn was like, want to do video? I'm like, oh, hell yeah. And then that's how I started using Zoom on a regular basis.
Yeah, I'm actually, this is actually my first time using Zoom, actually, which is kind of funny. I use a different service for my stuff, but it's not like too hard to figure out once you like get it going. Like I already know, like, oh, when I do this, I got my lighting at the right spot, I got my camera in the right spot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
See, I would take these off, but I have a lazy eye, so I like to hide it.
I got you, dude. Yeah, I mean, I got bad hair, that's why I wear a hat. So
Hey, to each their own, right?
Exactly, and plus I can have this nice logo displayed for
I
my.
might have to ask her to help me with my logo, honestly, because I want an official logo instead of the one we just used. Because we just put it together on like I don't even know what my friend used. We just put it together real quick with clip art. And I'm like, I want something official, so maybe I'll reach out to her.
Yeah, dude. Shout out to Valdi for my awesome logo. She's helped me a lot with stuff, and just the whole LC Banks crew. They were so nice, and they're like some of the most hardworking people I've met, and it's just an honor to be friends with them.
I can honestly, I couldn't agree more. Like when I was first working with Evanor, I did not know she was a cosplayer, and I'm a cosplayer as well. So much like, oh, yes, we got cosplayers who are musicians. Because I'm like, before the pandemic, I was always going to music festivals and conventions. That was my life, con and festivals, and I missed those days so much. Honestly, the days
Dude,
when I used to lug around props and helmets, those were the days.
dude, I know, like 2020, dude. Like I was just starting getting like concerts. Like I went to like eight or nine concerts in 2019. So like 2020, I'm going to go to more concerts. I'm gonna have more fun. Supposed to see Smashing Pumpkins, Ginger, Elsie Banks, like all these cool bands that like some of them I'm friends with, and it's like nothing.
Oh, I hated that. I'm over here like, hey, 2020, please go burn.
Yeah,
Just go. I was so pissed.
yeah, dude.
Actually, I saw one of my favorite DJs right before the pandemic hit. I saw Dead Mouse at a casino. I've wanted to see him for years because some of his songs had the same effect on me that metal did. It helped me get through some shit. So I've wanted to see him for a long ass time. Had that chance in February right before lockdown. And I'm just like, oh, yay, we're in lockdown now. And
Yeah, I mean,
then, yeah, started this up to pass the time. And I love it. I don't ever want to stop doing this.
oh, dude, I totally feel it, dude. Like if there's like one takeaway from 2020 that was a positive, is that even though yeah we all locked down, there's not many shows going on and stuff, but that the musicians do have more time now. So like I was able to get like some really good interviews this year and even last year. So like I mean that's like the one silver lining. That's like the one good thing that happened in 2020 is that we were able to like really grow and to do this.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I never thought I'd ever be able to do this. This was just more of like a pipe dream for me. I didn't expect it to actually come true. Like, I don't care how big or small the channel is. I just do it because I like talking to bands. Like, I don't care what positive comes from this to my end. Like, I don't care about channel growth. I don't care about clicks. I just like to give back to music. That's the only reason why I started this up. I just never expected it to lift off the way it has. That was just like, wow. Because I never expected to talk to Rebel of Autumn. That was like, I was just testing my luck. Same with Hulu. Like I've been a fan of Hulu since 2006 when I first heard her stuff, and then I just was listening to it. I never thought I'd ever be able to actually speak with her. When I found out her group was independent, I'm like, oh, maybe I have a shot. So I messaged her, got a response like a day or two later, and I'm like, oh hell yeah! I think that was episode 7. It's been so long.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Definitely, I like how we share the same goals. Like, I mean, views and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's important to some point, but if my goal is like to help bands. So if like even if like one new fan comes out of doing an interview with them,
Good
like
enough.
that's my goal. Like just as long as we get like one person or more people, like check out their music, give them a like on Facebook or whatever, and stream their stuff. Like that's kind of like that's my goal, and I think definitely we share that.
That's my goal. Like as long as I can get them at least one new listener, that's good enough for me.
And I've done that with a few bands, so it's really cool. Like once a month, I spin some music. Like I have my whole like super show where I spend like 2 hours of music, and I've actually had people. So like some friends actually like talked to me. I was like, dude, you play this, you kicked off the show with Kaleido. I'm like, now I'm a huge fan of Kaleido. It's like, dude, that is what I want to hear.
I might start doing that, like putting different songs together and like showcases like you do. I'm gonna need some. I actually need some tips on how to do that later because
Yeah,
I
I
do
mean,
want to start doing that. Like I was thinking about doing a whole thing of the groups I've worked with. Like every 10 episodes, I do a milestone. I was gonna do like each showcase would be a song from each group I worked with for those 10. That's my plan, but I have no clue how to even start that up.
it's a little tricky. I mean, I'll definitely I will help you out, of course, as you
Thank
know.
you.
There's not much to it. I mean, it's pretty simple, straightforward. So I
Yeah,
did. If you want to do it, just let me know.
sounds good because I definitely do want to start doing that. Because there are some groups who I think really need to be heard. like LC Banks, Reality Suite, Evernoir, because their music is mostly suicide prevention,
Yep.
which is why I really love their group. It's so heartwarming. And same with what was it, Dead Like Juliet, who I worked with today. A lot of their stuff is around like like battling depression and finding yourself and stuff like that. Like with a new song that they released last year, I think it was called Save Me. They sent it to me today, and I was crying when I first heard that. That's why I love music. It hits you right in the feels department, I swear.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh, for sure.
Oh man, that's why I love music. It's such a lovely tool. It helps people get through so much shit. It also helps the people who make it too vent out their own problems.
Yeah, actually, I liked how I know Sharon said this during my interview. I think she said it during yours as well. Like each song is like a release for her. Like she's always excited to like release it because like this is like what I've been working on. This is like all my feelings and all that stuff. Now it's released, for everybody else. So I like that. I kind of feel like with my stuff too. I'm always excited to release stuff. It's like, hey, here's my new thing that I'm working on. Like please check it out, kind of thing. So
Yeah,
definitely I feel it.
it's fun. And it feels rewarding too when you get positive feedback. Like I was working with this one guy. He's more into rap, but he's actually no, I can't even say that. He's multi-genre. Nick Natoli. He is signed under I think it's Warner Chappell, so a pretty big label. His music actually just made the top 80 on iTunes Billboard recently.
Nice.
Awesome dude. He actually just released metal. He goes, "Here you go." I'm like, "You know me so well." Like seriously, he released a new metal song, and I'm like, "This was his first take on metal." He sent me it. I'm like, "Hey, buddy." He goes, "Dude, I hope you like it." I'm over here looking at it like, "Wow, you know me too well." Because he goes, "I know you're a metalhead, and this is my first metal song, so I want you to hear it." And I'm over here like, "Dude, you're the best." He has done a country album, a hip hop album, a rap album, and now he's working on something with metal. And I'm just like, wow, that's awesome.
That's sick, dude. I love it.
He actually reached out to me because he wanted to be the first person to do not only like rap or anything else, but like the first person to do rap, country, hip hop, and to be the first one who does that on my channel. He reached out to me because he wanted to be the first. And I'm like, dude, I love that. Mind you, this guy is pretty big. He has like over 130K followers online on Instagram, 30 something plus on YouTube, and he works under a pretty big label. So the fact that he found someone as small as me was impressive. I'm just like, how would you even find me?
Dude, I'm always impressed when like Wild Street hit me up to help promote a show for them in my state. I'm like, dude, I got you. And he's like, hey, I'll send you the single before it's released. And I'm like, yeah, please do. So it's always cool. And I've been asking like when I interact with people, it's like, so how did you find me? Because I'm always curious. It's like, it's my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Is it like, because I just want to know, because like I know something is at least reaching somebody.
Yeah, like that guy never expected to find me because he's a pretty important musician. Like he works with Snoop and a bunch of other like top artists. So I'm over here like, how'd you find someone small as me? He goes, dude, I see your Instagram. I like what you do with music, and I want you to help you be more diversified. I'm like, I was gonna be more diversified thanks to Dakota, because he wanted me to work with which I keep forgetting her name. The one who does terrestrial. I can't think of her name. The rapper who does like the alien stuff.
Oh, Lexi, I forget her last name.
Lexi Terrestrial or something like that.
Yeah, yes.
I haven't heard back from her yet. I'm still waiting. But no, like he reached out and I'm over here like, okay, let's see what we can do. And I loved it. Such an awesome, chill dude. He wanted to know what song got me into this, so I sent it over to him. He loved it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm over here thinking to myself, a guy who does all this like different genres is being supportive of a small channel who mainly focused on metal. I'm definitely gonna give more genres interview opportunity because like I was going to anyway. It's just most people who reach out to me and I reach out to are metal, but I always do want to get more diversified. I just haven't had the opportunity until he came along. Actually, no. Halu and this other guy were also not multi, but different genre. This is one guy. He goes by Ruby Coco. That's his stage name. We were trying to set up a time, like what time you want to talk, where you're from, etc. What's your time zone? He goes, I'm from Connecticut. I'm like, bruh, I'm right. We were a few towns over the whole time. We were laughing. We're like, we could have done this in real life. He goes, yeah, we probably could have. But the dude was a town over from me, and we didn't even know it. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
hilarious. He actually just released some new stuff a few months ago, and it's really good. He's working on some new stuff now. But no, like I didn't expect that. I'm over here like, okay, what's your time zone? EST. Where you from? Connecticut. Me, really? Him? Why me? I'm from there too. I'm in this small town. He is the next town over. I'm like, go figure. Small world.
Yeah, dude. I mean, honestly, I started out doing in-person interviews, and I love in-person interviews. I think it's a lot easier. You kind of get the vibe of it, a
Yeah.
lot easier. But I'm digital, obviously, easier when you're obviously like halfway, if you're like halfway across the world or something. But dude, I love doing in-person interviews. Hoping to get a few of those set up too, because they're just awesome. Like actually meet the person, and to do the interview.
Like, like for me, it has to be online because I'm talking with groups from Estonia, Brazil, like it's all over the world. Like I can't just fly out there. But I do want to do in person too. Eventually, I do want to drive down to Pennsylvania to meet Dakota and do like an in person with him because I think that'd be funny because he's hilarious.
Honestly, yeah, I would love to meet Dakota. Actually, I haven't yet. I was actually in Pittsburgh, like right before I met him. I was actually in Pittsburgh, just like for family vacation, saw the Pirates lose, stuff like that. And but yeah, like if I would have known like a few months earlier, like about Dakota, man, I would have tried to meet him during that week I was there.
Honestly, and he's hooked me up with some pretty cool people too, like Patrick from Brutal Business.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he got me hooked up with him and he's helped me interview his bands as well. And it's like, wow, because Patrick owns Brutal Business Entertainment and Dakota owns DI Records. So it's like I'm working with two label owners at this point, and I think that's amazing. I actually interviewed Patrick as well because he has his own music project. So I interviewed him about his project and his label. And it was a lot of fun. I actually have to upload that soon. Tomorrow's upload, I'm going to upload a different group called Echo 7 because I haven't uploaded theirs yet. And I did that one like weeks ago. Main reason is because I used to have someone who helped me edit. I haven't heard from him in a month. So I've been editing all my own stuff now because he's no longer with me. And their video had a lot of different technical difficulties. So I'm just trying to think, how am I going to start this? But hopefully I can get it out. I mean, because it was funny. One guy didn't know how to put his mic on, so one of them wrote on a napkin saying, "Turn on your mic." They were great. They're from Canada, really good, really nice people. But no, I'm over here thinking to myself, is this really happening on stream? Oh, I got bloopers now, but I'm gonna just keep it in the video. I'm gonna put that little like the multicolored TV screen effect where it's like the beep one. I'm gonna just use that. Yeah. But no, literally, he was running on a napkin saying, "Turn on your mic," and the guy turns it on, and he goes, "I don't know how to work this thing." It was fun though. They're nice people. They're also. I worked with a group. No, I noticed Siren, Arrival of Autumn, and them, and Echo 7. They're all from Canada, and I love that. I love speaking with people who are in the same area. It makes it like more fun because a lot of them. Same with Trope. He's also in Canada, so like they all know so they all have knowledge of each other, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, dude.
Speaking of Siren, I gotta post theirs too. They're like pirate metal. They're like a pirate metal band, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, dude, I'll definitely check that out. Yeah, because there's so many like sub genres of metal and all that stuff that it's like you can find like anything you're looking for.
There's always something new to discover with metal. That's why I love it being an underground genre now, because it's like a lot of people don't do it for the money, which is why that music shines a lot better than most mainstream, because it comes from the heart. Like a lyric set in the song Unwanted from Juliet, from Dead Like Juliet, it goes, "You do it for the money, I do it with all my heart." And I'm like, I love that. That song is awesome. It sounds like it first goes with an acoustic near a campfire, then it goes straight into the metal. It's awesome. I love it.
Dude, like the independent music stuff, like, especially like I think definitely in the last couple of years, it's really like thrived with stuff. I think a lot of people realize you don't have to be on a record label to make it. And I definitely, I mean, I'm independent of a lot of things, so like, I'm like, dude, like, I feel you, like, I'm kind of in the same boat with that stuff. It's just like, yeah, more freedom to do whatever you want. You can release whenever you want. You can cover any kind of topics. You can be any kind of genre you want. It's awesome.
That's actually why I like the Colors label. His is a jack of all trades. So you can be whatever genre you want and still make stuff. That's why I love his label specifically. It's not like focus on one genre. I almost said gender. Goodness. No, me and my friends, we make jokes about that all the time because we all do dark humor a lot, me and myself included. And we've been making those jokes a lot as of recent because of all the drama going on. We make fun of drama and we just laugh about it because it's like we don't want any part of it, but we will make fun of it a little bit because of how over the top of the drama is. It's so frustrating, but it's free comedy.
Exactly.
Make the most out of any situation.
That's right.
Actually, speaking of Revel of Autumn, they got me in touch with a really cool group. It's hard for me to pronounce the name, but they sent me their unreleased album, which I'll be interviewing them on the 6th, which I'm really excited for.
Oh, nice.
Yep, it's metalcore, and actually, no, it's more like 80s metal, if I'm being totally honest. Like the vibe I'm getting from it, the way they sing, the way the instruments sound I'm getting a massive 80s vibe, and I love it.
Nice.
I will send the name over later, and it's awesome. They're great guys. I actually found him on Instagram when they were doing a live stream with Arrival of Autumn's Tyler Fox. I'm like, oh, he's doing a live stream. Let me join in. And they're like, oh, hey, it's you. Hey, interview this kid. He's a great interviewer. I'm like, you guys rock. Nice.
It's always cool when people like just set you up. It's like, hey, here's a cool dude or a cool band or a cool chick. Like just interview them. Or like when people like recommend you, it's like, hey, I found you because I'm friends with this person. To me, that's always awesome. It's like.
I love it.
And someone recently complimented me. He's like, "You're a rising star. You're a great interviewer." And I mean, I really appreciate it because like I should do this, with all my passion, just like with you.
I love your videos, man. I actually watched the most recent one. Loved it. Actually, the Midnight Devils one I really liked.
Yeah. Oh, dude, they were so awesome. I know they're trying to do a show. Obviously, didn't happen in my area, but dude, I know a lot of people are actually coming to me. It's like, hey, can you set up a show for me? And it's like, well, not really what I do, but I might have to get into promoting shows if I want to see all my friends. So I might have to.
Yeah. Ruby Coco was the first person who actually reached out to me directly, and that's how other groups started reaching out to me. Because I'm usually the one who does the reaching out. Because at that time I was still studying on my own before I met Dakota. And then I think his episode was episode 4 or 5. I have to double check. But he was the first to ever reach out to me, and he told me he reached out to three other people, and they all just shut him down. And I'm like, I can't do that. I'm not shutting you down, man. Let's set this up.
Yeah.
Even though it's not metal, because at the time I was strictly a metal channel because I was working with a metal promoter, which was Moonlight Promotions. Fraser, come back, we miss you. But no, that's his real name, Fraser. But at the time I was working with him, so we were doing mostly metal and metalcore. And then he reached out to me like, you know what, let's see what happens. And I decided to give him a shot, and I loved the decision. He was an awesome, respectful guy, and I want to work with him again in the future. I really do.
Yeah, it's always cool the connections you make. Like I'm working with quite a few different people now, and it's so cool how just everything works. Kind of like everything works very well. As like this person hits me up, and then like I try to work with these people, and then work with this person. I try to give everyone who I work with each equal time, just because like you guys are all helping me, so I'm trying to as much as I can. I know like I can't schedule so many. I have limited time per week to do everything, but it's like I will help you out as much as I can.
That's how I am too. It's like if I can help you promote yourself as much as I can, I'm going to. I'm going to put 110% in. That's why I was actually honored when this new group wants me to work with them right before their album release. They want me to talk about their album with them, so I'm over here like, ooh. They sent it over today, so I'm gonna give it a full listen, and it's really good so far. I heard the first song already, and I'm already like just falling in love with it. And I honestly never expected to start this. There's one group who I recently worked with who I have to upload theirs soon. It's called Tales We Tell. Their singer has the same name as me. And their stuff is really good. Like I actually promoted their music when they were only at 50 followers, because that was when they released their very first song. I supported it. They were like, dude, thank you so much. And I asked them if I could do an interview with them. They go, hell yeah, man, definitely, because that was like when they were still first starting out. A few days later, I pop back at their page. I see it grown exponentially, and they're like, dude, you're here with us from the beginning. We want you to keep working with us. And my heart was just like overjoyed. Because the song that they first released called The Epidemic, it's really good. The song really caught my attention, so I shared it. And then after that, they messaged me saying thank you. I'm like, we should do an interview. They go, yeah, man. And we started it up. I just wish it was at an earlier time, because they're a few hours behind me. They're up in, I think, Vegas. So I'm over here at midnight just setting up for them. I mean, hey, it wasn't as bad as the Australian one. I'll give him that. No, this one's story was great, though. They were really respectful guys, really kind gentlemen, and I just would love to work with them again. The Australian group, I don't think it's gonna happen because they were like, okay, here's how we want you to do it. I check my clock. That's like 3 a.m. for me. Then please, I'm like, fine. I look at 3. I set up them. Oh, we're gonna push you off. I'm like, really? It is 3 a.m. on my end, mind you.
Wow.
So I'm just, and here's how my head works. Like once I'm awake, I can't go back to sleep. So I was up for at least 17 hours that entire day, and I'm over here like, I'm not happy with this. I was respectful about it. I was like, I didn't say anything negative. I'm just like, okay, we'll reschedule whenever, and I've not heard back from them since. So I'm just like, I think that boat sailed, and that's probably for the best because I don't want to wake up at 3 a.m. again. I really don't.
The earliest I interviewed a Flower Leaf out of Germany, which was awesome, really awesome band if anyone hasn't checked out. And this was back when I was working full time. So like I woke up at, I think because they're like 6 hours. I think Germany's 6 hours. Yeah, 6 hours ahead of us. And so like I knew I couldn't do it during the day because obviously I was working, and I can't do it at night. I couldn't do it like later in the evening because it'd be like 3 or 4 in the morning for them. So I was like, all right, I'll wake up at 6 o'clock, do the interview, and then I'll go to work. So that's the earliest I've ever woken up for an interview. Luckily, I have a lot flexible schedule now.
Yeah.
So like now it's like I can do stuff almost whenever. So hopefully no more 6 a.m. interviews for me.
Yeah. I work with a group from Germany as well. I was working with Made the Tempest. They have a great stuff. They actually just released a new album, I think the 19th of last month, and I loved it. We were supposed to do an interview, but I haven't heard back from them yet. I should probably follow up with them. Great guys. And we were talking about what bands we were able to play with. They were like Currents. I'm like, yes, round of applause.
Yes. Right on, yeah.
I see a lot of bands get inspiration from Lamb of God. I heard a lot of groups mention them, and I'm just like, okay, let me look it up. I look up Memento Mori from them, and I'm just like, it goes slow, then it just goes straight in. I'm like, holy crap! I love the adrenaline rush you can get from songs like that.
It's especially just like that extreme metal, just like this is how I'm feeling right now, and it's like it really can just pump you up. I listen to like a lot of stuff when I'm working out like that. It's either like punk music or like heavy metal.
Yeah, I love them both can come together. That's what's even cooler. Like especially with music festivals, how they can always mix that. Speaking of festivals, we're actually planning one with Dakota and Patrick. We're turning some ideas around. I'm like, you know what? I always used to go to Warped Tour, and I know when this whole pandemic is over, people are going to be going to festivals like no tomorrow. So I'm over here thinking, what if we made one for DI Records and Brutal Business, get some unsigned groups in there as well, and do it to help all the new bands? Because that popped into my head. And now they're actually taking it seriously, which I'm happy about. So much like, oh hell, this actually might be happening.
Dude, I mean, if I can help you out in any way, I mean, I think you got a great idea. You working with 2 great people helping you plan. Like Dakota, I know for a fact, working with him, he's a master planner about everything. So I know like he'll go over everything very carefully, and he'll like do everything right.
He is amazing. Like he was thinking about doing that small pubs and venues first, which is actually a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Do a few opening acts and then build up as the years go on. Like I mean, that's what Warped Tour did. They were a long process.
Nope.
I love how they're bringing it back. Actually, I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, I heard about that actually from one of your interviews. So that'd be really cool. Actually, I never went. Honestly, I was kind of younger, so I never really went. Plus, it never really came to anywhere close to Indiana, so
yeah.
I never went.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
Bro, we the same age.
Really?
Yeah, I'm 23 as well.
I thought you were older. Oh, geez, I didn't know that. Like,
I thought you were older than me.
I got that. I get that a lot, honestly. Like a lot of people think I'm like 18 or like 28 is usually what I get. Because I was talking to
27, 28. So yeah, I'm right on the ball there.
Yeah, cause I was talking to the rumors last night, and they're like, "How old are you?" Because you look 28. I'm like, 23. Like you're only 23. I'm like, yeah.
I thought I was the youngest on the team. Well, looks like we're the same.
I didn't know that actually. But it's funny. Like I still get carded. Like in Indiana, like if you want to see an R-rated movie, you have to show ID unless you look like you're 18. And like I get carded all the time. I'm like, I just want to see The Conjuring, bro. Like,
I cannot believe we're the same age. It's awesome.
I didn't know, dude. I didn't know that, but that's pretty awesome, dude.
It is. I literally finished college right before the pandemic for CNC, and it's like with everything going back out of country again and the pandemic, I'm just like, crap, I can't find work. So I'm applying as I'm doing this, but like I actually was close to going to school for radio. I really was. I almost left my current college to go to a radio school, but I'm just like, I gotta see this through, which I regret doing now. But hey, I met some pretty cool friends along the way who have stood by me this entire time. Actually, those friends who have supported me back then are supporting me with this now. They're the first ones I always go to when I work with bands. Actually, tonight they're like, "Who are you working with?" I said, "I'm working with Super Cool Radio." They go, "Who is that?" I send them links. They go, "Oh, we gotta check this guy out." I'm like, "Yes, you should." They're awesome guys. I've known them for a few years, and I actually got them into metal. They were always like R&B and stuff like that. I showed them some stuff of the groups I work with, and music I hold dear to my heart. And they're like, "Okay, we have to listen to this more." Like when we all hung out, we always used to hang out. I'll get my speakers hooked up, play some stuff, and we're just chilling with music. And it's a lot harder to do that now with the pandemic, so I just send everything over. But yeah, I am still glad I did finish my college for that, but I still wish I could go back for radio. I really do, because
Yeah, actually, I mean,
I was
for
something
me,
up.
doing radio, like I mean, as I said earlier, I was never trained to do this radio stuff. I picked it up either by working. I've worked with a few great people. I know Aaron Kroll, Studio Talk out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. He has helped me a lot. He honestly is a really great interviewer. I learned a lot of stuff just by listening and watching his interviews. But yeah, I'm currently going back to school right now for digital marketing from Cornell,
Oh,
doing
nice.
online classes. That's why it's more flexible for me right now. That's why I'm trying to get every major thing that like is time sensitive. I'm trying to get done and also still go to school.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a job so I can move out of here because I have want to live on my own soon.
Yeah.
I still live with my mom and my twin, so it's like just trying to make my way to the world so I can just move out and do my own thing. Like,
Yeah.
even if it's an apartment, it's good enough for me. I just want somewhere where I can just be myself and just chill. And the only place for me to be myself is cons and music festivals when I'm with my friends. When I'm home, I cannot be myself. I'm just like, hi, how y'all doing? Yeah, have a good day. Okay, headphones coming on now. But that was me. That still is me. It sucks,
Yeah.
but I'm happy I can do this at least because this is so fun.
Dude, I had a great time, dude. I think we talked for almost an hour, I think, but
Yeah, I think it has been actually.
so
I think the longest interview I ever had was with Carrie. It was like over an hour and 20 minutes.
yeah, I think maybe we should maybe wrap this
Definitely.
up. I got one more thing from me, and I'll let you close it out.
All right.
What are your future plans for the rest of this year for Nerds Order Music?
Well, honestly, just keep doing what I'm doing, find awesome groups, support them as much as I can, and work on our other segments because every 3 to 4 weeks, our group comes together for a segment video where we talk about our topics, segments, upcoming releases, stuff like that. We actually use a digital platform to do that because it's more fun that way. We use a game to do that because like why not? It's because someone actually made a radio studio room in that world, so we just used it. We literally logged in, got avatars, and used it. It's hilarious. Like the kid made a full on like Saturday Night Live radio show kind of room, and we just decided to go into the room and use that as our recording room, and it's great. It's fun. And like I said, every few weeks we will do a recording. I'll edit it, post it up, and it's where we bring all of our segments together. Like we have weekly recommendations. I say who I was working with during the time of the recording, and we talk about upcoming stuff in comics, movies. We just do that. So that's our own little thing we do as well. I post interviews. Another one of us is trying to start doing interviews, but he wants to interview more hip hop groups. So I'm like, you do that. I'll keep doing what I'm doing, and we're gonna see where we can get that. But yeah, no, there's three of us, three college buddies, just making an idea together. But yeah,
I love
my
that.
goal for the music one is to keep doing it as much as I can, manage my time more wisely, get more groups that I could help promote, and just work with it. And hopefully help Dakota get some more bands under his label because there are some groups here I think would be really good under him and Brutal Business.
Dude, right on, dude. I'm looking forward to all things you got going on. I love your interviews. If anyone hasn't checked them out, please do that. Subscribe to his YouTube channel, Nerds Owner Music, and Nerds Owner Entertainment. There we go.
And make sure you all subscribe to Super Cool Radio. I love your stuff too. Like keep it up, man. I love it.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
always
I've
excited
got
for a new
I
episode.
recently discovered title scenes and makers and all that in my program I use, and like I've been going kind of crazy with them because I love it because I got like 37 seconds for my intro music, which by the way was made by Johnny Neville, the guitarist for Elsie Banks. So
That's
thank
awesome.
you. So like I want to use that time wisely to like, here's my logo, here's Super Cool Radio Presents, here's what the title of this interview, whatever I think is going to be, and then here's a promo picture that the band sent me, and then we go into my interview. So
Nice.
I like doing that. Also, I recently just did just an audio only interview with Mike Jones of 7 Reasons, local from Niles, Michigan. And that was really cool because I got to play around with it more. Like I added a song to the interview because you can do that. Like it's harder to do that with the video.
Yeah.
And plus it was like an hour. So I was like, I kind of wanted to just do this in audio because my camera's going to run out of time because I know it's so much to cover.
Exactly. Like my laptop is always plugged into the power. I never unplug it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta start doing that. I have a template I use for the pictures, which you've seen. My friend over at Moonlight made it for me before his hiatus. I have not heard from him since. I miss him. But no, it's like he made the template I use. He sent me a good font type to use. So I use the font type, I get a picture from the band, and I use the template, and we're good to go.
Yeah, I like a template. They turn out really like it looks very professional. So I mean, I probably should get one for myself. I just haven't done it yet.
The biggest thing I'm trying to do is make the image more clear, because I don't know how he did it, because his images were clear as hell. I'm still getting used to doing it, so I'm trying to find out his tricks, but I haven't been able to reach him, so I'm just like, I gotta figure it out myself.
That's I do that. That's like my whole Super Cool Radio thing. Is like I don't know what to do, but I'll figure it out.
Exactly. Like the first video I had to edit myself was I'm trying to think of the band here. I think it was Evanor actually was the first edit I ever did myself, and I just started trying to roll with it as much as I could. The biggest pain is getting rid of the camera freezes when it happens. Like when it cuts in, like crap. I hate it when it happens.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I had one of my latest interviews where I kept doing that. So I mean, it is tedious to do it. Luckily, it was kind of a shorter interview, so I didn't have to do it as
Yeah.
often. But like once you get the hang of it, it's not that
Yeah,
bad.
I get the hang of it. So the thing that I hate the most is hearing my own voice. 'Cause I hate hearing myself talk.
Dude, same thing, dude.
I'm just like, I really hate hearing myself talk. So that's why I miss having an editor. But
Yeah.
I'm slowly getting used to it. And I love it. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I can help bands, which is the main reason why I started this up in the first place. And I feel like I can really give back with this, and I want to keep giving back as much as I can. Like I want to work with all genres. Actually, there's a girl who messaged me. I haven't heard from her for a few weeks. She does tribal, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
And
I think I've seen that one too. Yeah.
yeah, it was on the Sepsis community page. She messaged me and everything, and I haven't heard back from her yet. So I might give her a follow up soon, because I find it interesting. Tribal, I find that very unique because I've never actually heard tribal before. She
Yeah, I
sent me
mean,
some stuff, and honestly, it's something I could definitely meditate to because I do a lot of meditation on my spare time as well to help calm my nerves. So definitely some stuff I could do that too. So I mean, I try to find a place for all music in my daily life, and that one works really well with meditation. So I might actually try to hit her up again, see what we want to do.
nice, dude. Yeah.
It should be fun. But yeah, like I said, I want to keep giving back to music as much as I can. And I want to never quit at that either. I want to keep it going.
Dude,
And
yeah.
also make this into something more.
Yeah, dude. Like, my main goal obviously is to help people and promote good music. That was my goal when I started. I know my platform has changed. I'm not on an internet radio station anymore. I'm on Spotify, iTunes, and all that stuff. But it's definitely the goal is still there to help promote music and have fun. Like honestly, that's the number one goal is to have fun.
Yeah.
Meet great people. I mean, we wouldn't have made this connection without obviously Dakota DI Records. But it's just so cool. All the people like I've gotten to either meet digitally or face to face or both at times, and it's just so cool. Just everyone you like didn't think you would be able to meet, and like, wow, I actually met this person, or wow, I actually got to see them in concert, and now I'm interviewing them.
For real. Actually, I was gonna say, in terms of having fun, there was one interview I had to do upstairs in my room because we were having construction done down here. So I went upstairs. Does my cat not come up and almost hit the computer? I'm like, no. And then I was working with chapter 26 a while back. Like my cat was just like looking at the camera. I'm like thinking to myself, you better not. You better not. It was funny. It was so cute because I have 2 cats. I got them when they were 5 weeks old. They were the size of my palm when I brought them home. and they're always about like they love technology for some reason. So whenever I'm working on this, I usually work in my office down here in the den. But when I was upstairs, they're both like, "Ooh, a computer." I'm like, "Don't you dare!" It was great.
Dude, yeah, I got a cat too, but she'll like hang around, but then like as soon as I like she knows when I start and like she'll just like go and like sleep or something. I want her to make a cameo on my show at some point. I've had two cats make cameos on my show. Alita Tempora Markey, both of her cats showed up during our interview, and then Azur Wolf, I forget one of their cats was hanging around during the interview.
I had a cat cameo too happen. Not my cat. I was working with a group called well, and my dice. I mentioned them earlier.
Yep.
I think it was the bassist or the guitarist. Their cat came up and just sat with them like the whole time. I'm like, oh, it was so cute. They actually asked me a really cool question too. They asked me what was the funniest thing that ever happened during an interview, and I mentioned to him how I was working with Atena, and one of my favorite songs by them is called "Death Is All I Think About." It hits really hard, like it basically embodies depression, and I'm over here like I feel that, and they told me well, the beat we got was from an ice cream truck we used to store in it. I'm like, are you serious? And then they go, we want to make a song about depression. So let me get this right. It's depression and ice cream. Yep, that's about it. I'm like, really? But the song is so good. That's
Oh,
why
that
I
is
wasn't
awesome.
expecting that.
Oh, dude,
I will
that's
send the
awesome.
song over. But no, it's like when I first heard Death is All I Think About, a lot of people call it an anthem because of how hard it hits. And it hits really hard. I didn't expect the answer to be, oh yeah, no, that was just ice cream trucks and depression. I'm like, really? Really? That song is so good. And the lyrics hit so hard. So I'm over here thinking to myself, they got this from Ice Cream and Depression. That's what got this song to be created.
And the one biggest thing about music, you can get creativity and inspiration from anywhere.
Exactly. Like with Hulu, the song Stone Fruit. It literally was encouraged when she was doing a marathon and a plum tree kept dropping plums on her head every time she ran under it. And that song is so good. Oh man, I swear she's an amazing singer, and her husband is amazing with music. Like they work together on it, and their work is amazing. I love it. They started out in the late '90s, and they even did some tours in the '90s, and they're still making music to this day. And I did not know they were independent until recently, and that's when I reached out. I'm like, I'm gonna see if I can reach out and see what happens. And she was like, "Are you sure you're talking about me here?" And I'm like, "Wait, you do metal? I did not know that."
Like what?
She because she saw my page name and she goes, "Are you sure you're looking for me?" I'm like, "Yes." She goes, "Here's some metal stuff I do." I'm like, "I wasn't looking for metal. I was looking for Hulu." She goes, "Really?" I'm like, "Yes." She goes, "I wonder why." I told her the album I love. She goes, "Okay, yeah, we're doing this." I'm like, "Yes."
Nice,
She
dude.
was such a sweet person too. Because my other Instagram is Metal Mayhem, but you probably know. So she was referring to that. I'm like, see, even though I do metal, that's not all I do. That's not all I want to do. I want to do more. And she goes, okay, let's do it. I'm like, thank you. Because I've been a big fan of her since I was in high school. This was 2012 to 2016. And I've really enjoyed her music. I got into music way before then, though. Like, I got into her stuff when that album dropped in '06, and I just fell in love with it. And then I'm over here listening to it a lot, and I'm thinking, if I'm working with bands now, let me shoot her a message. What's the worst that could happen? I get a response like a day or two after, like, let's do it. I'm like, yes. But yeah, no, she was super sweet.
Dude, yes. Yeah, all the connections you make like that. I'm always surprised every time either people hit me up or people say yes to an interview with me. It's like, thank you, obviously, for your time. But
Exactly.
it's also cool just how like people are just really like it seems kind of weird like when you work with bands like it seems like closed off. It's like I'm never gonna be able to reach them. And then we just send a message and they respond. It's always cool.
Yeah, it's like, wait, really? They're responding to me?
Yeah.
Like, I love it because like I said, music has always saved my life. It helps me with my day to day life as well. Like, I'm always listening to music. It helps me get through the day. I always wanted to work with bands. I just never thought it'd be possible until I actually tried it. I'm just like, let's see what happens. And then it just started up as this little project, and now I'm really hoping to make it more than that. I want to keep helping bands as much as I can, and finding new groups is so fun. What I love the most is when groups come back. That's what I love. And so far, I have 3 lineups ready.
Dude, yeah, like it's always cool. Yeah, as you said, like with bands, like if they hit you up again, it's like, hey, you want to do another interview? I was like, of course. And I always tell people, you're always welcome on my show. If I've done an interview with you, you're always welcome on my show. And we'll figure it out another time. If you want to do a follow up, just hit me up, let me know. And sometimes I seek people out again. It's like, hey, I really liked their first interview. Can you do it again, please? It's like
Exactly. Like with Blood Butcher, they were a very fun group to say the very least. So energetic. And I think it was the bass play. I think it's the bass player. Was the one I usually stayed in touch with. He was like, "Dude, we're releasing a new album soon. We want you to work with us when we do it again." I'm like, "Let's go," because I was actually the first one who ever interviewed them, and they liked what I did, so they want me to interview them again. And that's how it is for a lot of groups, like AXTY, a group from Brazil. Their stuff is really good. I was the first one who ever worked with them, and their band's not that small. Well, it's small, but they have a decent following. So I'm surprised I was the first one to work with them. Mind you, I'm all the way up in Connecticut and they're in Brazil, and I'm like, wow, I'm the first one. And they were so nice about everything. I still love how Singer is younger than us. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely it's different intro. It's just like it's kind of funny, like how old do you think people should be, like who do like music or who do like podcasts and stuff. You always think, oh, they must be older than me. And it's like you're like, oh wait, you're not. Wow.
I love how we're the same age. I wasn't expecting that.
Dude, I thought you were like 25 or 26. I was like, I think I'm younger than this guy, and then we're the same age. It's like, what?
Mind blown.
Yeah. Either people, as I said, like people think I'm really young, or like because they say, oh, you do radio and podcasting, you must be doing this for a long time. And it's like 2 years, but I'm only 23.
So it's like, you've been doing it for a while, me. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love getting those reactions out of people too. Because I was working with this one guy. It's like, you're this young. I'm like, yeah, I just do it because I want to. And he was like, I respect that. I'm like, thank you. And a lot of groups want me to work with them again. Like I said, Blood Butcher, Arrival of Autumn. There's a few others coming in. I'm really excited. May the Tempest. And I just want to work with them again because they're all releasing new stuff and they want me to be the first one who covers it. Like Arrival of Autumn, they want me to cover the new album when it drops, but they're gonna wait until a few days before it drops before they do an interview with me. I'm gonna post it right before the album drop. So I'm doing the other group I'm working with. They actually, Arrival of Autumn was like they were all doing a live stream on Instagram. I was in it. Like I wasn't in it. I was watching it, and they're like, "Oh, hey, look, he's here." I'm like, he noticed, and then he was like, "Yo, work with this guy. He is really good." I'm like, "Thank you." And then me and him, the guy he was working with, got in touch with me immediately, and we already set up a date. And he sent me his album before it gets released. So I'm like, "This is actually happening. Let's go."
Yeah, dude.
So sweet. You meet some pretty cool people doing this.
Oh, and like I've been trying to time my interview. Like if I'm trying to like spread it out. Like, hey, you got a new single dropping this day? Okay, if you want to do an interview, we'll do it before then. I'll drop it. We'll promote it. Or if you're gonna have a show coming up, okay, I'll interview you. We'll promote it. And so that's what I've been trying to do. Is like if we got something big to promote, I'm gonna help you out and we'll get it done. So that's why I've been trying to like time everything with my stuff.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna try to release this around the same time you do. Actually, I'll email the file over to you when we're done. It's gonna be a big file. We've been talking for an hour and a half. Well, I think we officially beat the time I was on the line with Carrie.
Yeah, but honestly, it's a lot of fun. I hope people enjoy this. That it's two podcasters talking about podcasting, which sounds like a joke, but it sounds like a bad joke.
Honestly, it's a lot of fun though. I never thought this would happen. Like I said, this whole idea was a pipe dream for me, and then I started doing it. I met Dakota, met you, and now we're all here. Oh, yeah. Imagine getting Dakota on one of these.
Dude, I mean, I'm thinking about doing that sometime. I want to get through his bands first, and like, okay, here's all the bands you've heard. Now here's the mastermind.
Exactly. Like I want to do all of his bands and be like, now here's the king.
Yeah, like I'm thinking about getting Frantic Endeavor. They're also on DI Records. They're really good. If anyone hasn't checked them out, so I'm probably May or beginning of June. I got so much stuff to schedule. Like I'm trying to get it. Like here's my set dates. Here's the bands I want to interview. That's like I know I got like 30 days to do to get all this stuff going. So I'm like, oh man, this whole month's gonna be busy.
Yeah. Like I want to get through all the bands and be like, okay, now here is the king of the castle. Yeah. Just because he's funny. He's a great guy.
Yes. The dude, he's just awesome to work with. Like we had a meme war going on one day. It's like he said before we started this, he's like, "You're not gonna beat me," and he was right. I ran out of memes before him.
I think I'd win. I have over 22,000 memes on my phone saved.
You might want to take them on sometime.
I should. Thing is, I was always skeptical of being that comfortable around him when I first met him because, like, I saw the DI Records label as his profile picture. I never actually went to his profile. I thought he was a woman for a while, actually, because the name Dakota, you see that more with females. So I was thinking, like, okay, I think this is the girl. And then when he started opening up, I'm like, okay, no, I think this is this. Put me in a chat. I'm like, oh, he's a dude, because I never actually explored his profile. Because back then I was like, no. Back then I was trying to be as professional as I could. Because I just met him at that point. Like, I just got introduced to him. I didn't want to, like, seem out of line, if you will. And then when we started doing comedy, I'm like, okay, you know, I can open up around him. I can be myself. And that's when I realized, oh wait, he's a dude.
That's actually funny. That's funny.
I actually never told him that. Oh, he's gonna see it. Hi, Dakota.
Back in this too. Oh man, I honestly, I think that's a great way to end this. I think that story is like perfect to end this.
It will.
Oh, dude.
Oh goodness, because I never explored his profile. I just saw the main picture that was DI Records. I never actually looked into it that much because I thought it's not my business. And hey, story of the week.
Yes, that's honestly, I think that topped everything I had.
All right, we'll wrap things up here. This has been another Nerds Order Music interview. Today, our guest was the host of Super Cool Radio, and this has been a blast, man. Thank you so much for your time. This has been great. I loved it. Yeah,
for sure. And one more thing before we go, if everyone, please subscribe to Super Cool Radio. I'm on YouTube, or if you want to listen, I'm on Spotify, Anchor, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. So if you want to listen, you got those streaming platforms, or if you want to see me and my lovely guests, hit subscribe and follow me on YouTube. I'm also on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for Super Cool Radio.
Definitely check him out. He has some really good stuff. I approve this message.